Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you had a great week 2, but week 3 is here and let's get to those picks right after this. We are back, and man, I had such a good week 2. I hope you did. I took home money in Draftkings. All my lineups pretty much cashed other than one. And my teams, I went 3 for 3 on all my leads. My main team here kicked some fucking ass again, over 200 points. Man, we are rolling. We are in first place and the points leader. But before I get into the waiver wire and my picks for Draftkings this week, let's talk about those studs that beasted out this week. We should start with the true king of the quarterback position these days. It is not Tom Brady. Tom Brady is going to have all his stats blown out of the water by the one, the only, Patty Mahomes. Dude, Patrick Mahomes is a straight baller. In one quarter, he put up stats for a game. Mahomes put up 31 fantasy points. He threw 443 for 4 touchdowns, dude, in a quarter. He was doing awesome. He was throwing the ball downfield to this guy, Demarcus Robinson, who is the other baller of the week. And we are gonna slide right into those highlights because Demarcus Robinson was the beneficiary of all the throws from Patrick Mahomes. Robinson also had a great game. He had 35 fantasy points, 172 yards receiving, and 2 touchdowns. The kid went off. You're gonna have to put him in your lineups coming this week because Hill is gonna be out for a while, and you don't know who the number 1 is gonna be, Sammy Watkins or Robinson, or is it gonna be Mecole Hardman? We don't know. You should have all 3 of those guys and start them week in, week out because that offense is prolific. At the running back position, we talked about it in our draft special, and I think every week we're gonna start seeing Dalvin Cook go off with a big run. He did it again, just another beast run from this beastie motherfucker, bro. I love Dalvin Cook. He is the chef. He is serving up those defenses with that long run. Get Dalvin Cook on a trade if you can. I'm sure you're not gonna be able to because who would give that beast up? But for real, this kid is going off this year. Probably gonna win a rushing title. At the tight end position, Mark Andrews, he did some work, and week 1 he also did some work. Right now he is the leading tight end in this league, getting the balls from Lamar Jackson. He had a big 8 catch, 112 yards, and a touchdown game. And for a tight end, that's some serious numbers. Mark Andrews is a very great tight end to have, and we're gonna talk value in Draftkings about him later. If you guys had a chance to start the Patriots defense this week, they put up some of the highest defensive fantasy points you're gonna see out of a defense probably this year. They went into Miami and put the boots to them. It was embarrassing for Miami. They're cleaning house, they're giving up draft picks. It's just a mess down there. But the Patriots put up 37 points. They shut them out. They had 7 sacks, 4 interceptions, and 2 touchdowns. That is some serious numbers. 37 points on a defense, that will bring you home a win. Now, before we talk waivers, let's take a nice little rip here. So here are my waiver picks for the week. We're gonna start right off with somebody we just talked about, and that's Demarcus Robinson. He's getting those balls from Patty Mahomes. It's almost a no-brainer to throw him in your lineup. Get you some Demarcus Robinson. Also, we all saw Drew Brees go down. That sucks. I had a similar injury with my thumb when I played basketball years ago, and let me tell you something, that shit takes a long time to heal. Ligament damage in your thumb, especially when you have to grip something, that's months, if not a year of rehab to get that thing fully strength. So, Teddy Bridgewater is going to have to fill the role for a while. Maybe Taysom Hill will take over eventually. Get both of them. Get Teddy Bridgewater or Taysom Hill. I will be fine with either eventually, but right now, Teddy Bridgewater is going to be the starter for the next couple weeks until he eventually gets injured. It's inevitable with him, he will. Another waiver pick, and he's out in San Francisco, is Raheem Mostert. Last year, this guy had flashes of brilliance towards the end of the season and was really difficult for fantasy owners. But this year, it seems like they're gonna run a 3-headed back committee, but he's very talented. I have a feeling he's gonna put up at least 10 points every single game. Great flex start, get him in your lineup just in case any more injuries happen. And finally, I'm gonna go with Will Dissly. Why? Because Will Dissly is one of the great names to say. Dissly. He has a good rapport at Russell Wilson. I like the way they were working together. He got 2 touchdowns. He got only 5 catches, but he had about 7 targets. I will still start a Disley. It's a deep tight end league this year, but I do like Will Disley. I think as a solid tight end player that's going to give you 10 to 15 a week, he's going to be that guy. He's going to catch 5 for 50, and he could get in the end zone. He got in the end zone twice last week. I have a feeling he's going to do a lot of that coming up this year for the rest of the year. And now, boys and girls, it is time to get that DraftKings lineup picked out. And I have some good picks this week. I have a really solid lineup that I got to 0 that I think is going to also take home cash this week. I cashed in last week, tripled my money, which is nice. So I'm gonna throw a few more lineups this week, but here's my $1 million lineup, and we'll start at the quarterback position right after I hit this. All right, so quarterback position. And who else do we go with? Lamar Jackson. Why? He's got KC this week, and we're gonna build around that game because I have a feeling it's gonna be a sneaky shootout. Baltimore's a great defense, but there is no defense that could contain Pat Mahomes. So Pat is not gonna be my starter, even though I used him and he got me some money last week. Too valuable. I'm gonna save about 600 bucks, which I think is gonna pay off equally. They're both gonna throw to keep up in this game. I expect big points out of Lamar. Now for my running back position, we just talked about him. And why do I want to spend the money on him? Because he is solid, and that's Dalvin Cook. Man, Dalvin Cook is so solid. He has Oakland this week. I think you could run on Oakland. They're probably gonna give him the ball to stay in this game at least. So I expect 20 points out of Dalvin Cook in this game in fantasy points. Slide him into that RB1 position. You're gonna get yourself that nice solid floor with a good running back. I don't wanna spend Saquon. I don't wanna spend on Kamara because I don't know what's going on with Kamara just yet. And get that solid RB1 in Dalvin Cook. And next, I'm gonna go with another big surprise this year who I talked about early on that I said don't draft, but I was wrong. Marlon Mack. Marlon Mack is doing whatever it takes to bring those Colts home to victory. They went into Tennessee last week, a good defense, and they took them in. I was very surprised by that game. Mack might not give you 30 points that you want that at that RB2 position, but that value at 5,800 bucks for an RB2, I'll take that and I'll make the money up elsewhere for my wide receivers and tight ends this week. We mentioned wide receivers. Before we do that, smoky break. Now, let's do them wide receivers. And we're gonna start off with that Hollywood Brown because he's fucking nasty. Bro, Hollywood is showing up. We only got 14 snaps on the first game and he went off again. And I didn't start him this week because of only getting 14 snaps week 1. So I wanted to sit and wait on him. I should have started him. He's solid. He's gonna get balls. Lamar Jackson loves the rapport with the good old Hollywood Brown. I'm gonna slide him into my lineup. 5,900 bucks, worth every penny. 15 points, maybe 30 at that ceiling. We'll see. It's going to be a big game. It's going to be a shootout. Kansas City, their defenses, we don't know yet. They haven't played really baller teams, so we're about to see when they play a decent defense, really good defense, if they're going to be able to throw the ball downfield like they have been. And that being said, I feel Baltimore going to be trying to keep up, is going to have to throw to Hollywood Brown. So we'll see. My next wide receiver, I have a good feeling about John Ross. We talked about him last week. I'm picking him up on waivers. We pick him up this week. He's John Ross III. And at 5,100 points against Buffalo, I like it. He's not the #1 there, but he has played like it. Everybody thinks Tyler Boyd is, but the guy's averaging 31 fantasy points a week. Come on, let's just put him in the lineup, 5,100. If he gets 20, I'm happy with that. If he goes under average, that's cool. And now let's go to Denver and to the true #1 who's only valued at 4,800 after catching so many fucking balls last week. Emmanuel Sanders. He's healthy, finally, and he looks good. Joe Flacco knows Emmanuel Sanders. They're both the veterans on that team. They're gonna have to count on each other if they're gonna wanna win any games this year, like you just saw them do last week. When it came down to the game, Emmanuel Sanders was the guy they were looking for the most part. So, that being said, at 4,800, we're saving money there with a #1 wide receiver. Get him in. If he at least gets 5 targets and a touchdown, he paid for his value just there. Before we get into that tight end and flex, you know. Little baby hit. Our tight end this week, we're going right back to the Baltimore KC game, and we talked about Mark Andrews before because he is a solid beast. I'm gonna put up solid points in this game again. Mark Andrews. And why Mark Andrews? Because it's Lamar Jackson, it's KC, it's going to be high scoring. Let's get part of that game and put him in the lineup at 4,500. Good tight end value, I like it. Let's lock Mark Andrews in for 5 catches, 60 yards and a touch. Let's call that. Now in my flex, I'm gonna double back to a tight end, and he didn't have the biggest game last week, but I think they know what they have in him, and they know they need to throw the ball to Evan Ingram. So I'm gonna put him in my flex. We're saving money, it's only 5,200, and for a volume play in your flex, I'm gonna stick with that. If you guys see anything else out there that you think I should be going with instead of Evan Ingram in the flex, let me know. I might switch that up. But right now, I really feel very solid about Evan Ingram putting me 20 points in that flex position. And finally, to round out the lineup, we're gonna put the Patriots back in there. Again, we talked about 37 points last week. I have a feeling it's going to be that way again against the Jets. We just saw them against the Browns. The Browns had what, 8 sacks, 5 sacks? It was a disaster for the Jets on Monday night. Short week. Patriots, they haven't allowed a touchdown in 3 games since the Super Bowl. Base floor of 20 points. So put them in your lineup, lock them in at $3,800. I love it for a defense, and that will get you $1 million. I hope. Now that we plowed through another fucking fun week of week 3 picks, I can't wait to get them starting to fly off the board on Thursday night with that Tennessee game in Jacksonville. Should be interesting. Thank you guys again for watching. Before I get out of here, please let me know how you guys are doing, if my picks are working for you. I got a couple DMs last week, good conversations I had. We got a couple, I fucked up on one. I said don't start Aaron Jones. He had a decent game. Did not see that coming. I'm sorry, start him next week. But before I get out of here, I'm gonna take a fat dab out of the Cardi V. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, guys. I really appreciate you guys watching. Can't wait to see you guys at the Boston Freedom Rally this weekend if you're gonna be there. It's going to be a lit time. Friday night, we have an event called the Boston Bud Bash. It is sold out from 7 to 9, but that's okay. At 9 o'clock, we will open doors to the public. So if you are in the area of the Summit Lounge, come on by, come check us out at 9 o'clock. We will be there blazing, dab bar, all good things. So until next time, guys, stay lit, and I'll see you on the next video. Stay lit.